Los besos dicen que tú sí me quieres, pero tus palabras no.
So today I want to talk about a city that initially I thought was okay, but after I went back a second time, actually it turned out to be boo-boo. So before we start, just want to clarify something. If you just come to Mexico City just for a short time, short trip, then there's nothing wrong with it. You know, in fact, I encourage you to eat the food. You might get food poisoning, but hey, the food's really good here. Now, if you want to live here for long term, well, that's a different story. You know, a lot of people, when they talk about Mexico City, they always have rose-colored glasses on, always saying everything is good about it, but they can't find any faults with it. Especially about long-term living here. I guess they have some agenda to prove, or they want to win some popularity contest. But hey, I want to tell you, one of the things that sucks is the freaking traffic, man. You know, the traffic is super horrible. You try to go anywhere, it takes a long time to get there, you know. Like, take for example, I lived in 10 different places in 1 month when I was there, so I got some frame of reference. One place I lived at, to get to the train station, if you walk, 20 minutes. If you take an Uber, 20 minutes. How does that make any sense? Can somebody tell me in what world that makes any sense? Also, the design of the city sucks big time. Someone decided it would be a good idea to put a expressway right there in the middle of the city. You know, so it makes it super hard just to get across or do anything. And it really sucks for pedestrians for walking. It's I feel like one of the worst cities to walk in. You know, just because the streets are not straight. You can be walking somewhere and then you get lost. And then you're fucked if you don't take an Uber or something, you know, to try to make it up and go back home. You know, it really grinds my gears. All these vloggers that say nothing but positive things. Excuse all the trash, but Mexico City is a bit messy. They got city bikes there. Now, city bikes are usually nice, except they don't have the infrastructure for it. Someone decided it would be a good idea to put a expressway right there in the middle of the city. There's no bike lanes, you know, and Mexican drivers are pretty bad. Everyone's super thirsty just to race to the red light. I don't understand what's the point. You know, drivers that don't even yield for pedestrians. It's super uncomfortable. Every time you walk across the street, you know, you gotta sign a insurance waiver or something, just so like, you know, it really grinds my gears. Those vloggers online, they do a disservice to people. They're always saying how things are so great in somewhere, but they never stop and tell people the truth about what a place is really like. Oh, weather. In the winter time, at nighttime it gets super cold. It's really hard to sleep while cold. I don't know about you, but I can't sleep while I'm freezing. You know, many places they don't even invest in getting heaters. Even hotels don't have heaters. They just give you extra blankets. I don't know about you, but I don't want to put blankets over my head and suffocate while sleeping at nighttime. Plus, you know, in the daytime I'm trying to work, I'm freezing my limbs off because it's so super freaking cold. You know, I gotta like buy a heater and then run it like all day long just to stay warm enough so I can do any kind of work. You know, it really grinds my gears is the food. Food's delicious. Now, the bad side, it's very easy to get food poisoning in Mexico City. It's weird, isn't it? It's supposed to be a first-tier city, but you can still get food poisoning. Like, what in the blue hell is that, man? Come on. You know, get your food sanitation practices, you know, down and straight, you know? And this is like food from restaurants and malls. There's a higher chance of getting food poisoning there, too. So come on, man. Excuse the trash? Let me see. Excuse the trash. Also, water. Water is not potable. That means it's not drinkable. Why does anyone talk about that? You know, which means like even if you boil water to cook with it, it's still not safe. You'll get food poisoning because there'll still be like bacteria in that water you're not even used to that will survive it. Excuse all the trash in the background, but Mexico City is really a big mess. All right, so another reason why long-term living in Mexico City may not be for you is if you're a straight guy and you don't like other guys coming up to you, hit on you, telling you you got nice legs, bring you out for a cup of wine or some other variation of that, or trying to help you with your groceries or give you a ride somewhere, well then, Mexico City is not for you. Because, you know, it really grinds my gears. Mexico City is so spread out. It's really inconvenient to walk. Taking Ubers, they add up. And the train, the subway, kind of sucks. It's hot, it's slow, stops like every corner. Every corner. It's got like a million stops, takes forever to get anywhere. The bus system can get confusing because there's way too many lines, easy to get lost. You know, early grind spent gears, don't come here during the high season because it's really hard to get a room, especially Airbnbs. I found way too many Airbnb hosts were like slumlords, you know, and liars. On the listings they put, you know, it looks all nice and stuff, but when you show up, it's completely different. It's a bait and switch, and you know, it smells like cigarettes or whatever. I mean, not all of them, but you know, there were at least more than a handful to just leave a sour taste in the mouth. When it comes to renting and stuff. Also, it's hard to rent. You know, a lot of places, there's just a lot of rags there. It's hard to find, you know, something that's decent. You know, something that doesn't smell like cigarettes, or something that doesn't have super thin walls, something that has decent insulation, something that's in a decent area, you know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's really hard to find an apartment to rent for long term, even for a short term, especially if you don't want to get ripped off, because during the high season, everything's super expensive. You know, some of these Airbnb hosts are just a bunch of thieves, you know, trying to charge like $3,000 for a month for an apartment. Come on, man. It's Mexico City. Shouldn't be that high. And then you'll find a lot of places that are like shared bathroom, shared kitchen. And it's loud too. All right, so take it from me. I've been traveling for, well, 5 years straight, right? Before that, I traveled even more, but I've been to over 85 different cities. So that's my frame of reference right there. You know, if you should take the word of anyone, you should take the word of someone who's been to, you know, numerous amount of cities and actually lived there. I'm not gonna keep rose-colored glasses and tell you everything's okay when it really isn't. So until next time, peace.